Hi, my name is Ardam. I'm the author of The Next Democracy, and with this video I'm going to kick off this channel. I wrote this book because I really think our democracies are in trouble and they need to be innovated. We seem to be trying to change the outcomes of what we achieve with our democratic technology not changing itself, and I think that's a big misunderstanding. Many of the issues that we see today are outcomes of, at the end, poor decision making and how we govern ourselves. It's about inequality, loneliness, stress, but also about environment that we are not taking good care of. And we could blame, of course, the global game, China, and so on. But many of these issues are quite local. The way that we pollute our cities and that we have a lot of cars, creating noise pollution, other kinds of pollution, and creating the kind of inequality and stress on younger people. These are not things that we need to solve globally. These are actually local policy issues. So in the last 30, 40 years, our democracies have sort of retrieved, even in Europe, and not actively engaged with shaping the markets. Of course, there's been some interesting attempts, but in the big picture, they haven't made any differences. I believe that with better democratic governance, we can achieve many of the outcomes that we wish at the same time. It's about creating a better nature and defense capabilities and more innovation and more welfare. These things can happen concurrently. Even better consumer products and innovations, but in a way that are not harming ourselves at the same time. I don't believe in degrowth. I believe that our definition of value and money is misaligned. And if growth represented that we were more aligned with what we value, then growth would be a good thing. Even people, the growth promoters, would say we want to be more sustainable. So if money making was aligned with creating more sustainability, we would not be anti-growth. We would just need to create more sustainability and link that to the idea of money making. And I think that misalignment is an outcome of dysfunctional democracy as well. We have not updated the way we account for public goods and link that to the activities of companies. I'm not going to go into detail or my thoughts here in this video why I think democracies are not working in their current shape and form. My goal is to make democracies work well for humanity. And at a highest level, I'm a big believer that democratic governance is the only way that we can create a long-term sustainable future for human species. And the ideas here are not about creating a sort of a revolution or a violent change. It's about creating ideas, planting ideas for a transformation. What we need to understand or agree to is that at the end, what we have agreed as a given in our democracies is at the end some kind of concepts that are constructed by us. The 4-year election cycle, that there are political parties that for most decisions a simple majority can push through the vote, that the party leadership can decide who should be elected in the next election cycle, and that citizens can't vote directly on most of the decisions. These are all constructs that we can rethink and change. So how could we reimagine democracy? And I'm going to talk about 3 main ideas and continue later in the detailing them. So the first thing is, and these ideas are really learning what worked well in the last few decades and what has become very powerful. What has become very powerful is the markets, first of all. We are working shorter time in any given job, and so we enjoy having the options of different jobs that we can work. We are investing in companies. We enjoy having all the consumer choice in what we buy. And that has actually improved the way consumer economy is working. So there's something about markets, the decentralized decision-making nature of markets, that we should learn from in the way we govern. In the public space, the public goods are governed way too much top-down. So politicians are setting forth what should be created or bought in terms of the public goods, whether it's creating more security or economic competitiveness, and how to achieve that. All these decisions are made by very few people, whether it's politicians or the few civil servant experts, and in many of the cases actually lobbyists at the end, in a very centralized manner. So can we learn from how consumer markets work, that the marketplace is a powerful one, and apply that to how we make decisions and create goods for the collective in a new way? And the second one is the rise of tech. There's no need to debate that tech has become a dominating force of economic activity and increasingly power. What defines tech really is their ability to measure and iterate fast, collecting data, processing data, and making decisions to improve capabilities based on that. And that's actually something we know worked well for humanity for many centuries, because that's the basic idea behind science. Science is all about gathering facts and creating a new understanding of how the world works. And we can use that not only to benefit our products and services to create sort of consumer addictions, but we can use the same tech capabilities to create collective wealth, to understand what are the public goods, what are the services that are improving them, and channel our public efforts and resources to increase them. So we have deprived our public goods from the mentality of gathering data and iterating, and we need to think about that. And the third one is transparency that we can achieve through code. In public space, most decisions are taken behind closed doors, and there's a lot of power involved, and often that means that the public trust is compromised. The success of Bitcoin and other crypto initiatives are on the back that code doesn't lie, that we don't need to trust a few people around their decision making, whether and when to print money. For example, it could be that we have with Bitcoin, we understand how the code will kick in and decide what will happen. So this is really important to rethink our future. Do we need to be dependent on individuals in making decisions, or can we create the kind of transparent structures that allow us directly get involved with policymaking and don't need to trust several layers of humans, gatekeepers, if you like. Thank you for listening.